hat, it looks silly. It's going to look daft. Yeah, I know it look daft without the hat, and it's an 8-year-old hat. I know it's green, but yeah, I'm taking the hat off. I'm taking off the hat. It's stupid. It doesn't even fit in the frame. I'm going to take the hat off. Yes. Greetings and welcome once again. Now that looks stupid as well. I'm sorry, that looks even worse. Not doing silly hats, not doing gimmicks, not doing Irish music. Well, I am doing Irish music, but let me set the camera up properly. Yes. Greetings, Bigora. Good evening, good afternoon to you, and welcome along. Once back to the channel, and with me, Disco, in front of the cans and bottles here on the bar, which I'm happily calling the Disco Arms. For this Monday club. I'm not calling it a party. I'm just calling it. It happens to be St. Patrick's Day, and you know everyone likes a St. Patrick's Day drink up as much as me. So I thought I'd do a stream anyway. See who's about. See who's not gone down the pub like me. 5 years I've been doing this madness, and I wore the shirt 5 years ago for St. Patrick's Day stream on the first ever day live. We'll look at that a little bit. But I see there's a bunch of people in. Thanks for popping in. As always, Hopper was earlier on. We have to drop in for a while. Superb. Would be good to see you if you're popping in. Simo. Greetings to the clusters over the weekend. Okay, not great. Well, we'll see that one. That's the third one up. As you've seen from the thumbnail. Last time I had clusters, I had to use a special cream to get rid of them. Well, hopefully no medication required tomorrow. I've got 3 not massively big beers. I'm actually going down the ABV this time. Oh, no. I haven't got them in order. Shark. Finally got this. Yeah, as always. Well, kind of we're just running on Dublin time, Irish time. You don't have to be on time for a St. Patrick's Day stream. I haven't been drinking all day, so I didn't play the Drinking All Day song. If any of you remember that one. Mr. Wilson, good evening to you. Thanks for popping in. Is anybody Rob, good evening as well. Thanks for popping in. Is anybody joining me with a stout, Guinness, or otherwise? I did say I wouldn't mention Guinness, and I've used the word 4 times already in the stream. But I'm going to do a regular stream. I haven't lined up anything special particularly apart from the usual stuff, so let's dive straight into beer number 1, please. That's terrible. Beer number 1, please. Don't try doing accents. You get confused, Disco. Yeah, so number 1, we are actually going to the island of Ireland, to a brewery I haven't seen for a few years, to be fair. I know they've been still doing good things and kicking around, being like that. It is Whiplash Brewery over in Dublin. This is a beer called Simple Maths, and it is an 8.2% double IPA. Yes, I know. Look at me smashing a DIPA first up. To take into the account of not drinking all day. Let's go big with the first one and review a DIPA. Why not? Hey ho. There we go. Simple Maths. 8.2% double IPA. Clearly labelled on the can. Marisota wheat and oat malts and carapils, and with hop lineup of Simco, Idaho 7 and Strata. Funny enough, I had a beer with Strata in over the weekend at the brewery. It was a new version of Very Pale. No, it wasn't. It was a new version of Very Hazy, where we used some Strata hops kicking around to try something a bit different. Looks a lovely, hazy, kind of yellowy beer in the glass. Fair to reminder, I'm on it. Dave Wilson drinking a Pipeline IPA called New Horizons. I've seen Pipeline down Cornwall, aren't they? A photo. Let's do that. Should be okay to photo this one properly. It's kind of a matte coloured can. Those 2 stouts later on are going to be a bit more difficult. If only I'd had the camera ready. Really funny light tonight. The camera wasn't really picking up. So that wasn't the technical difficulties, by the way. Yeah, lighting's not good on that. Oh, it's not even in anywhere near focus. Let's try the other side. Excellent head retention on the beer there. holding it as well. A fluffy, bubbly fluffiness on that pillowy head there. And you see the oatiness of the body as well knocking around. Oh, fuck it. Again, more big feet smashing the camera tripod. Again, as always. I love Strata, says the hopper. I do not love Strata. I don't dislike it generally. I find it to one of the hoppier hops that ends up into a beer. Sometimes when people want to do something different and end up doing much the same. Good spot, Mr. B. Good spot, sir. The Guinness t-shirt. I don't know if you can actually see it. I got it in New Zealand 15 years ago on the lineup of the Guinness pints. I've worn it a couple of times on stream. Films the fern of New Zealand in the shadows of the Guinness pints. Love that t-shirt. Really cool. Really simple. Won me some beer as well. But yeah, that's pretty much all. I wasn't going to do too much apart from the silly hats. Got a whole collection of hats upstairs somewhere. Just grabbed the first ones. I used to regularly collect all the silly Guinness merch and all the O'Neill's merch. I was a very regular Guinness drinker back in the day. Well, not even up to as late as about 6 years ago. 5 years ago. 5 years ago on this very day. I didn't make it to O'Neill's. I sat in Wetherspoons with a solitary pint of Guinness on the far corner away from everybody else. I gave up and went home because it was dead and O'Neill's had shut because come 10 o'clock. Yeah, there was nobody about 5 years ago. Very strange, but you will remember those days. Yeah, the new normal, eh? Anyway, so yeah, Whiplash had a couple of beers from them, including a disco beer, Disco Mystic, which is another big double IPA. So they have, I've just been aware of them for about 5 years. I've been pulling out some big beers. Haven't always gone to them because I do see them about at bottle shops at Trembling Madness and stuff like that. Picked this one at Trembling Madness last week because I thought I might as well do a stream and I needed a couple of Irish beers to go with the ones I already had in. Anyway, let's see what we got from this one, shall we? Looks good. Nice pillowy, yellow, soft, juicy looking number. I was tempted with this one by the write-up. I'm going to go and find that in a minute and remind myself what it was. But first, let's get into it. Oh, wow. There's some big tropical juiciness there on the nose, but a hoppy kind of tropicalness. It is very, very similar in looks and also aroma to the beer we have on the bar over the weekend called Very Hazy, as I said. This one has got Strata hops in. What the fuck is going on here, Disco? Sort your shit out. I can get this on anybody else's stream. Yeah, I'm going to slurp this one now. Cheers. Oh dear. Oh, hands up. I did read the description beforehand, and I was slightly worried by the word dank in the description. And yes, there it is. Big, punchy kind of tropical notes, a little bit of pineapple kind of stone fruits, but a big mouthful of sunshine. But yeah, kind of dankness in the background. Thankfully, not really grapefruit, not quite pine either, but they haven't got a description in the can, actually. I saw the description they have on the website, so we're going to have a look at that in a minute. But yeah, like I say, Simco, Idaho 7 and Strata, not three of my favourite hops, but I knew what I was doing in with this one. I knew I was going to go in, and there was a possibility that little dankness was going to, was going to be, yeah. It's not too cloying yet. It's not too piney yet. It's not too mouth puckering yet. The sunshine, the tropical fruit, the tropical juices kind of balance it well enough. We'll create a potato beer. I don't know if you saw last week. I got a sweet potato beer from Japan in a couple of weeks ago. haven't got around to trying it yet, but yeah. Right, it's a potato. What does baked potato say? Fully loaded. Yeah. As long as it's bean, cheese, and bacon. Best thing to load a baked potato with. Yeah, it's getting there. It's rounding out. Nice amount of oats on the body to give that smooth kind of tropical juicy note. A touch of orange juice, not necessarily in flavour, but that sort of citrusy kind of thing you get on the lips of orange juice, like fresh orange juice. There's a bit of grapefruit coming in. There's a little bit of pine coming in now. So it's causing me to wince slightly, because you know my feelings about pine, grapefruit, and general dankness. But yeah, I mean, it's probably kind of like the least Irish beer imaginable, apart from a sour. But it's good. It's definitely a good beer because it's got that body, it's got that tropical fruitness, and a reasonable amount of balance. A little bit of lacing. I think it's a good beer. I say that head development is stayed. Doesn't feel necessarily 8.2%. You'd get away with a 5 or 6 on that. We'll see how that goes at the end of the evening or maybe tomorrow morning, but it's a fully loaded beer for sure. Just a Gravity Well beer called the Coven. Nice. I'm assuming a stout for today, is it? I've got a Gravity Well beer, a big banoffee pie stout that I haven't quite found out how to fit in yet. I was going to do it last week, and then it's meh. There you go. Wicked Liquor version 2 Pale Ale. Oh, okay. Yeah, Gravity Well is another one coming out of East London that's I've seen around for a few years and haven't wholeheartedly dived into, because they do a lot of big pale ales, IPAs, double IPAs, and stuff like that. Although the big IPA I had the other month with my local brewery, Pinot, it was quite good. Bit like this though, a bit too much on the dankness for my personal palate, but what can you do? This one's so easy to smash down to try and get through that grapefruit. It's not causing me trouble as such. It's just, it is there lingering in the background, which I understand people like. I don't entirely understand why, because I want a nice balanced pint. I prefer the fruitiness rather than that kind of piney grapefruit dankness. You guys are probably fed up with me talking about it, but that's just how it is. Basically, if I'm not keen on that dankness, you guys will love it because everybody else seems to love that kind of thing. I think I can see the Strata in there. It was almost vodka-like alcohol burn there. It was a very liqueur note, not liqueur, it was a liquor, a very alcohol. It wasn't a burn, but it was just a little pulse of tequila or vodka or some kind of white spirit. Not white spirit, but some kind of spirit. It is white. I'm not a big fan of vodka, neat or otherwise. But yeah, that 8.2% is coming through now on that kind of liquor note, kind of some kind of distilled liquor kind of note there, which is also coming off the back of that grapefruit and that dankness in a way. It's sort of, if it were a graph, it's like it peaks in that kind of grapefruit hit and that kind of alcohol burn hit right at the back of the palate. Not unpleasantly, because it's kind of warming, and it's a bit cold tonight. You know, we had a lot of sun over the weekend, but it was still a bit cold. That's really weird the way they've got that in there. It does really taste like some kind of vodka shot or something. coming off the back of that grapefruit piney dankness. There was a time, I think 30 years ago now, we used to end on vodka and orange juice. Can't remember why. There was a good reason for it. But it's not unpleasant. It's just odd. It sort of brings the balance back, that kind of vodka note. That's really weird. That is. I've never seen that in a beer. Even a high ABV beer, like I get some kind of barrel agey kind of spirit note sometimes on the darker barrel aged beers, rather. But I've never found a vodka shot note in a beer before. That's really odd. That's really odd, but nice in a way. But that kind of grapefruit juice is coming back around the edge as well now. More than my beers, Mo. Which one is that? I'm sure I've seen it. Yeah, so I think I might have smashed that down a bit too quick, but it is very, very easy to do with that kind of juicy note. And again, I'm not a big fan of grapefruit juice, but it's rounded out by a bit of pineapple and stuff like that. That famous Irish grapefruit flavour alongside that Irish vodka, should there be such a thing. But I just see what I see. I don't know if I'm right or not. It's just what comes up on my palate, really. And there is a definite kind of vodka orange kind of note, or vodka grapefruit juice kind of note going on. Like I say, it's weird, but not unpleasant. Let me check. I did see a really good write-up for this. The reason I actually got the beer out of Trembling Madness. Show's been really slow today. I'm drinking 8.2%, and the first thing I see on the website is our first ever non-alcoholic IPA called Never Drinking Again. Which I don't think I would. I would definitely drink this again. It's really it's just a really interesting kind of balance or unmatched balance between grapefruit and kind of spirit. So yeah, I got a bunch of cans on the website. I've never got an order direct from them because I don't really know about what the import thing is from Ireland. But no, not that one. Right, there we go. Simple Maths Double IPA, 8.2%. Named after Manchester Orchestra's 2011 album Simple Math. Don't know what that's about, but there you go. Let's rack that up a bit. All right, a super pale and hazy 8.2% DIPA built on a base of Pilsner and wheat malts that really allow the hops to play the lead. Yeah, fair enough. Unusual to have Pilsner malt in an IPA yet, but why not? It's just a light kind of malt base, isn't it? A mid-fermentation dry hop of Idaho 7 screams pineapple, got that, and canned peaches. I kind of see what they mean in a way. That kind of tropical fruit note can be peach alongside the balance of that kind of slight dankness. There's not much sweetness particularly, but canned peaches on the nose, and then we lifted with a healthy dose of Strata and Simco to round out this dank fruit cocktail party of a beer. Oatsy the palate fruit in the end with a creamy full body finish that hides the ABV well. I did obviously read that earlier, so that's what I was saying about the ABV, and then the vodka bit hit weirdly. So 13 IBUs. I would have thought it was a bit more than that because there is some kind of hoppiness there. But fruit cocktail party. So it's not a St. Patrick's Day party, but it's kind of a fruit party in a can. In a way, I like that assimilation. What's the name? Association. What's that? It begins with the suggestive notes of that being a bit of a party in a can. It's got that juiciness. It is nice. It's just a bit odd with those outer edges flavors. I've smashed it down pretty quick, possibly a bit too quick. I might regret that a bit later. But in terms of waffling on, I end up just drinking. But I kind of enjoyed it, actually. I don't mind double IPA, but it's all about the balance. It needs to be a bit of balance. And it started off balanced, went a bit unbalanced in the favour of the grapefruit flavour, and then that vodka kind of orange vodka grapefruit juice thing hit, which is interesting. It's still there. That kind of, it's mid-level dankness. It's not completely dank. It's just dank on the outer edges. Not really like sweaty sock dankness or cheesy dankness or cannabis dankness, but just a grapefruity dankness, bit of pine. But as I say, it must be all right because a little bit of lacing, not kind of proper ringed lacing that I want to see, but like I say, proper smooth body, and the head development has kind of stayed on the top all the way down, which you love to see, especially in a beer like this. Makes it nice and creamy, pillowy. I wouldn't say the body is particularly creamy and in that kind of oaty way, but definitely made for a smoothness and a drinkability. Let's smash that one back. I only bought the one can. Probably should have got another one, actually, but I do have another Whiplash, and it was a 50-50 toss-up between which one I decided to do. I thought I'd go big because, I haven't been drinking all day, so let's get on it kind of thing. Cheers. That was Whiplash out of Dublin, and they're simple maths. Well, it would have been if I could spell it properly. And that was even before I started drinking. And there's a little red line underneath it. Oh, I didn't notice that. I don't know. Simple maths. That's how you spell simple maths. Not with a K, with an L. It's because this fucking stupid laptop doesn't have a fucking light on the keyboard, and it really annoys me because, with my bad eyesight and darkness in this house, I can't see the fucking keyboard properly. I say cheese. Oh no, hang on, we haven't got there yet. You have to remind me when I do the pour, because then, like last week, I had to do a screenshot because I went waffling on and completely forgot. I think it's probably because David Wilson wasn't in to do the photo reminder. Anyway, that's my problem, not your problem. Let's move on. Beer number 2, please. Beer number 2, we're going a little bit more kind of traditional Irish, moving away from Ireland, moving over to Hertfordshire on the outer reaches of London. Hemel Hempstead, in fact, for Mad Squirrels Shamrock. Love this can, beautiful can wrap, lovely kind of shiny shamrocks there with the gold and the green and the black. I didn't notice this when I bought it, actually. I can't really remember where I bought it from. It's a Nitro can, Nitro Irish Dry Stout. Not a big fan of dry stouts, I have to admit, in case they're a bit too dry. But I bought it at some point last year. I cannot remember if I bought it down at the Hop and Vine down the road here in Ruislip or at Paul's place up in Rickmansworth. That's a good reminder. Have I got the wrong glass? Yes, because the last time I did a Nitro Stout, it went all over the fucking place. But so I suppose read the fucking instructions, see what it says. Pouring black with a velvety cream. No, it doesn't. That's pouring instructions I want. It's about 4.5%. Yeah, no pouring instructions, so you're on your own. Unfiltered for maximum flavour. Suitable for vegans. Should they have the strength to lift the cat? Sorry. Sorry to any vegans. Nitro Irish Dry Stout. Well, let's just hope for the best, eh? Get it in the glass, keep it away from the laptop. Here we go. It's a very weird colour on that head development. That's the greyest black tan head I've ever seen. Did I do that right? I have no idea. You keep out of the way of the children. When I keep out of the way of the bloody laptop is the main problem. I mean, it looks all right. There's no widget, so I guess it's just a draft of Nitro in the can upon the fill. Yeah, no widget. Absolutely no widget. So I guess it's just a shot of Nitro as it's as it's dispensed into the can. Let's do the photograph before that head dissipates, because it's a fairly thin looking sort of head on it. Let's get the laptop out of the way a little bit, as long as you haven't disappeared down a hole in the middle. Right, yeah. So quite dark. I don't think that can is going to photo as well as it looks in this half light. It'll be better next month or the month after. Might even try and go earlier so I can actually do these reviews in the light and not have to worry about the photo so much. See what that comes out on portrait mode. Yeah, that's all right, you see. See, that's not bad. I think that looks pretty good. It's kind of more orange than golden. But as photos go, that's good. Happy with that. Trying to kick the camera disco. Here we go. Yeah, so as stouts go, it came up with a really kind of grey, sort of slightly pallid looking head, which is really strange. But the head development is really bubbly. Lots of really quite large bubbles. So not looking great, but yeah, maybe there just wasn't a lot of nitro, but there's plenty of carbonation, so it's not. I don't know. I think Rasko would say it's a bit of a gimmick, unless he's talking about inspection of day. But yeah, so having tried a few, it's a nitro. Well, it's a sort of a bit of nitro. The head has stayed, so that's not too bad. I'm getting sort of whiffs of chocolate from here. Well, I would be if my nose hadn't just blocked up. Yeah, there's a little bit of roasty chocolate on the nose. Do bear with. I find nitro beers give me a bad head. There's some that say you've got a bad head in the first place. Simo, I'm joking. Sorry, it's just a crack, you understand. Hey, listen, I can use that because at least 2 separate Irishmen have conferred honorary Irishman status on me. One in New Zealand, but he was Irish nonetheless. He said, sheer amount of Guinness you put away, Disco. I used to back in the day. I was, I was given honorary Irishman status. So I'm taking it. Pretty sure I was in it. Shit. I'm never sure about Mad Squirrel. Not had one in particular. Do you know what? Funny enough, you've been talking to Rasko because he always goes on about that. I like Mad Squirrel. I love what they do. Sumo back in the day. I haven't had Sumo for a while. Albeit an American Pale Ale was on the borders of hoppiness for me. But I had a couple of particularly good pints of that at various pubs. So I've always really liked Mad Squirrel. Sitting at their tap room in High Wycombe on more than one occasion when we used to have to go to bloody football in Wycombe Wanderers. But yeah, we went to Mad Squirrel and the tap room was brilliant. The beers were great. They do a really good line in stouts, to be fair. Della Creme, Della Nut, Della, that range of kind of creamy stouts. It was always pretty good. Arguably some of their paler beers I sort of swerve because they don't look like they're going to be my kind of thing. They've got I think Della Toffee, I think. That Rocky Road I had the other day was all right. Again, a stout. So, yeah, well, this is going to be an interesting comparison then, because I was quite scathing about London Black, I believe. Not just to argue with Rasko, but I just generally say what I thought. Let's get into this one and see what it is then. This came out at a weird time. I saw it sort of some point last year, and it's like releasing a beer then, you'd want to wait till this year to release, give it a month or two before St. Patrick's Day to release a beer called Shamrock. It's a dry Irish stout. So I find that a little strange. Don't think it's out of date. I know that one definitely isn't. I forgot to check, but we'll see. Have a look at that one in a minute. Let's get my nose in again. I don't know whether the Nitro kills the aroma, because off a London Black I didn't get a lot. I don't get a lot of this. There's a kind of background sort of roastiness, slight chocolate, but let's get it down my neck and see. Cheers, or rather, I should say, Slainte. Or if you want to pronounce it incorrectly, Slainte, but it's Slainte, apparently. Cheers. Oh dear. Oh dear. What they've done here. See, what they've done here is exactly what I said about London Black. They've taken a product that was not perfect in the first place and exactly matched it. Guinness draft in cans, in Nitro cans, is all right as far as it goes. But it is, for me, the last 2 times I've tried it, and there's a couple of videos up there, especially that coffee one. And I'm sure I've done a draft can of it, a Nitro can of Guinness. It's just a bit thin and kind of watery, a kind of spring watery. I'll grant you, a quality sparkling water. But it's there on the back end of kind of thin wateriness. Don't get me wrong. There's some reasonably decent roasted malt notes and slight coffee, slight chocolate kind of thing. I don't want to be comparing it to London Black, but it's weird again. And every other brewery now of a certain level is doing a Nitro Stout Guinness kind of rip-off because it's good business, isn't it? And it's good. It's tasty enough. It's got those kind of Guinnessy, probably slightly more dark chocolate notes without being actually chocolatey. But it's spring water thin. Now, Mr. B is now chucking maths at me, despite me doing a bit called Simple Maths. I do not understand gravity. I do understand gravity. It holds me, it keeps me grounded, but I don't understand numbers when it comes to that. So I think Guinness finishes about 1.006, 1006, 100% water. Yeah. Don't explain to me now because I'll never get it. But what if the thinness comes from a low ABV? Well, yes, but Guinness is, isn't it? I mean, this is 4.5. What's Guinness? 4? In those Nitro cans? Can't remember off the top of my head. Add cane sugar to dry it up. See, that's the other thing. Actually, see, when I think of a dry Irish stout, I often think of some of the craft stouts that add like Sabra or something to have that kind of coconut husk and dryness. I don't know what they've put in, but yeah, the flavor's okay, but they've got that kind of Guinness wateriness that, yeah. What it says is pouring black with a velvety cream head. Actually, the head has dissipated. The bubbles initially were quite large. It is a kind of creaminess on the head. There's a bit of lacing on the glass, so maybe it's not too bad. This Irish Nitro Stout offers rich roasted dark chocolate flavours, kinda, complemented by a hint of berry. Gonna have to look deeper for that. Its smooth, creamy texture and surprisingly light body make it exceptionally drinkable. It's drinkable, leaving a lasting impression. Not necessarily. Am I being too harsh? And like I say, I like Mad Squirrel. A delightful brew that balances indulgence and refreshment perfectly. It is not balanced because the balance it's imbalanced for me by that kind of slight wateriness. There is a slight kind of roasty coffee, chocolatey note, and a very slight dryiness. Head would be creamy if the beer came from a Nitro. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, lasting impression. It's not good. No, this is the thing. It is not bad. It's that kind of spring water back end that I don't like. The flavors itself. Maybe this is the thing about Stout. Stout doesn't have to be creamy mouthfeel Guinness like. Stout can be thin, but it doesn't have to be watery. I'd prefer it to be thicker, creamier. That's how I like my stouts, which is what I haven't had a pint of Guinness in a pub, like I say, for 5 years. But even then, there was that kind of slight wateriness to Guinness, draft Guinness. Very much, not so much on the export or the Nigerian version, etc. But in a pub, the whole point of drinking Guinness in a pub for me was smooth, creamy. You had some flavour to it, and you could bosh it down really quickly and get wasted and get onto the spirits around about midnight. That's a good question. Is a dry Irish stout a session beer? For me, no, because any amount of dry stout, and I've had a few, to be fair, non-nitro versions, and that kind of dryingness ends up being a bit cloying for me. So could I session this? From this can, no, but from the tap, maybe, because like I say, you drink differently in the pub. If a pub had no Guinness and this was on tap, I'd be smashing it down with the best of them. I would, of course, also be putting a couple of spirits alongside it. I wouldn't be sessioning that, but I'd rather be probably drinking that almost, because that went down really quickly. Again, depends how you drink. At the moment, when I'm doing these reviews, I'm drinking quickly, but not to get smashed. I'm trying to find all the delicate balances and nuances of a beer. So yeah, this is a session beer. If I was on a session and it was in a pub and I'm drinking it, if I was in Mad Squirrel's tap room, like I say, before football, we used to get there at 12 o'clock and leave about 2:30 to get to the ground. So yeah, I'd smash half a dozen of these quite easily. But there'd be so much other stuff to drink that I wouldn't need to session this. It's kind of that kind of paradox of yes, I can, but I wouldn't. There is now a much more drying kind of note to it, but it's that dark bit of chocolate kind of dryingness, that roasty kind of dryingness, rather than sort of coconut husk or coconut sabro. That's what I was initially looking for. What was in it? Does it say? No, there is oats in it. That's the thing. There's oats in it. Probably not enough. If there was more oats in it, it would probably be smoother. It's not rough and ready, but I think it'd be thicker bodied, even at 4.5%. And if there's more oats, it would probably raise the ABV a little bit. It doesn't say what the hops are, which is always annoying, as you know. But yeah, arguably the best thing is the can design. I really like it. I got mugged into it because of that, and I wasn't intending to leave it until now for it, but because of all the amount of stuff in the stash, that's what's happened. Yeah, I could neck this quite easily. Just don't know if I want to. Yeah, like lovely lacing, so it's probably good. Maybe a bit cold. I haven't got time to let it warm up and see if the flavour development is there. I don't think it will because of that. Yeah, that kind of spring water note. So again, what I think they've done is recreate almost too well a product that almost wasn't that great in the first place, apart from a bit of nostalgia, So nostalgia terms, which is not as good as it used to be back in the day anyway. But yeah, nostalgia terms, they're pretty close and with possibly better flavour. We kind of get this all the time. Like we had 3 stouts on this weekend up the bar, and our main one, the oatmeal stout, was on cask. And people are, is it like Guinness? I'm like, yeah, it's like Guinness, but better. This is like Guinness, not better. It's just like Guinness. There's a different lineup of flavours on the back end, probably, than Guinness. Little bit of chocolate. Oh, there's the berry. Yeah, there's the berry. Very late on in the tongue, there's a little bit of chocolatiness and blackberry. Kinda. A little bit of something dark like damson as well. Not a berry, obviously, but you know, fruit. Yeah, very late on is the fruit. I wonder if the Murphy's Irish Stout will be the same. I saw a post about that the other day. Who was doing that? Chris's beer reviews. Did Murphy's Irish Stout is back in the UK. I don't ever remember. I've definitely drunk Murphy's. I don't ever remember being like really mad about it, to be fair. I think under advertised ABV. I was watching a random post today. Spenno. I was watching a random video on, well, not random, it was obviously released today, about Guinness. And it tied in with what I remember watching. I don't know if you've seen that Made in the Factory thing with, what's his name? Oh, the cook bloke who got busted off for being a bit of a dick, a perv, or showing his dick, actually, allegedly. They brew like 100,000 litres at a time to the same recipe, and then it goes off to various places to be aggrandized into whatever version. Spenno was saying apparently that the stuff that comes over here, albeit gets brewed at St James's Gate in Dublin, I think it. What did they say? I'm sure that that factory program, they said the Guinness gets brewed to like 8% or something, and then goes off to various things, depending on whether it's for export, and then they sort of effectively water it down. And I can't believe on that program they actually admitted to that. But Spenno was saying it comes over to Runcorn, factory in Runcorn, and gets canned and kegged there, and then sent out. So, as I recall it, Guinness were quite open on that show that they then effectively water it down from 8% for the various ones. They didn't use the term watering down, obviously. Apologies if I've misspoke there, Guinness. Don't sue me, I'm skint. But yeah, so Spenno was saying it goes to a plant in Runcorn, and you can see, I can't remember what the plant is, but you can see it as you go in the train in Runcorn, I think. Paul's beer reviews. I saw that earlier as I looked up to YouTube. I'll go back and watch that afterwards, actually. Yeah, but effectively they do whatever process they use to get it down to 4.4% and then add the nitro, I think, is the plan for, is the general idea. As far as I understand it, I could be completely wrong. They also make a liquid malt sort of mix at Guinness. What, at St James's Gate? Yes, no, that was part of what was on that show, I think. Yeah, so they, so it's like a, not cuvee, like a, they mix it accordingly to what it ends up being, be it the export, brew it to export, and then bring it down. So they're concentrating in add water. No. Well, I'm sure on that program, that part of the factory, what's the name, Greg Thingybob, they do the brewing process, but it's such a big batch size. Guinness Din extract, that's an interesting. I'm not sure about that. I know what you mean, but I can't see it because they've got 100,000 litre tanks. I was watching it with my parents. They said, "Oh, is that bigger than your brewery?" I'm like, "Yeah, by about 200 times." No, 2,000 times. Told you my maths is not good. It's only simple maths. Like 500 litres to 100,000. Yeah, 200 times, isn't it? So, well, I think that'll be the closest I get to Guinness tonight, which is fair enough. I do kind of miss it. I say even 5 years ago, I was out most weekends, and because I wasn't fully into craft beer then, nominal term, I hate the term, on a Friday night in my town in Harrow, Guinness was about the best I could do for a session, apart from going to Wetherspoons for a few brown ales, like, you know. Don't they send liquid malt to make export? See, I don't know. I got the impression that they make it to export strength and then filter it accordingly down to the 4%. Maybe I got that wrong. It was like last year I watched that program. Or maybe they do. Maybe they brew it, extract it down, and then go to it. I don't know. I tell you what, David, that's a great shout, because I actually had one the other day. I didn't review it. Fuller's Black Cab Stout. I actually had one the other day. It was about 8 months out of date. I bought it in one of them supermarket ones I did a couple of years ago, them supermarket videos, and I have to say it was really good. So I've got to go and find that Black Cab Stout again. I mean, it's easily done. It's in Morrison's, I think. I've moved all the bottles around since. Oh no, it's upstairs. It's upstairs. I did it while playing darts. Fuller's Black Cab Stout, 8 months out of date. It was really, really good. Solid. Yeah, proper tasty. I was a little bit gutted. I didn't sort of review it because I bought it to do that. You know, my love-hate relationship with Fuller's. Yeah, I could also be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But if it's still on the iPlayer or whatever the equivalent, whatever channel it was on, I don't watch TV. I don't own a TV, so I don't know. So I was watching it around the corner with my parents, like. But yes, I believe not a brewery. It's sort of a brewery tap. So I don't know whether they're doing some small batch stuff there. Don't see a lot of small batch stuff from Guinness, although I believe they do in America, don't they? And probably in Ireland some more unusual stuff. I'm actually going to ask about that because I know someone who works at Guinness, but I'm going to, yes, no, they've been talking about that for about 3-4 years. It's a hideous bit of a carbuncle of a brick building somewhere in Covent Garden. I can't think where. It's just a big square standalone building as far as I remember, with a bit of glass and a bit of yellow brick. Supposedly opening this summer, but like I said, I've been talking about that for 3 years. I think there will be some brewing equipment there, although there's meant to be. How much, what they're doing, Guinness aren't exactly known for doing small batch and unusual one-off stuff, apart from the one I had. Don't know if you remember that collab they did with Toast. So see that here? Chili Guinness, a green chili and coffee Guinness with Toast. As part of COP26 a couple of years ago. I thought they'd make more of that, but yes. Guinness coming to London in whatever iteration, definitely a tap room, possibly a small batch brewery. Oh, okay, yeah, so David Wilson's on it already. Brewing plant just going in. So that'd be interesting, whether it's just Guinness or whether it's something interesting, some collabs or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. You see, you're kind of lucky because they brew Guinness over there. And no doubt you get some kind of interesting stuff as well. Bear with me just a second, people. Thank you. A brief interlude for some vaguely Irish-ish music. It's called St.Patricks Day Parade, so I put it on the start of the video. I got it. I made it. But yeah. If you're one of the few people that's bothered to watch my shorts on the Mao, I always put the intro to this on a short. and I've been catching up a bit recently, so they are all there now. The reason I do it is because I play the intro, and YouTube puts it out, and more people come up. So if you're at the front of the show waiting for me to talk, I play the intro and also the countdown, so that more people rock up, because YouTube kind of promotes the live in that way. And then I go down and edit it and take out all the chunk, the couple of bits in the middle. So apologies if you've been sitting waiting at the front of the show, but that's why it is. That's why I put that thing in there, to sort of keep you entertained. Website said yes. I thought there was micro-brewery. Be interesting. Like I said, they've been talking about it for about 3-4 years. So we'll see what actually happens, and I look forward to your post when you go there, because I probably won't bother. Or I will at some point. Wiki says Guinness 7.5% ABV version sold in Europe, Africa, the Caribbean, Asia, and the United States. The basis is an unfermented but hopped Guinness wort extract shipped from Dublin. See, I can see what they mean. So they mash in. I won't say they brew the beer. They mash in the beer, and there's a whole thing about brewers don't make beer; they just make flavored water, and it's the flavored water that then goes to be hopped, boiled, hopped, and fermented. So yeah, I can see that, but how do they stabilize it? Do they keep the wort stable and then shipped out? I mean, I don't know. Do they stabilize it and stop it from, like, I don't know. I suppose they take the water from the grains. Yeah, I don't know enough about that, how it works, but yeah, that's an interesting one. But that's, yeah, so they make it, they put the grains in 100,000 litres. I think they put the grains in 100,000 litres to make 7.5% beer. And then that, like you say, that unfermented wort goes to various processes. So one of them goes off to be the high strength version for export, and something else, another tanker, goes off. Apparently, so like I was saying earlier, to Runcorn to be made into 4.4% for this country. I imagine they then do that at St James's Gate for the Irish market. Yeah, which adds to local ingredients and fermented locally. Yeah, I wonder how they stabilise the wort for transit, and not, because you end up, it's like tea, you end up sort of stewing it eventually if you leave it in the grains too long. But if you take it off the grains, does it not keep stewing? Yes, brewers make yeast food. Some good, some not so good. Apparently Nigeria drinks more of the black stuff than anywhere else in the world, possibly apart from Ireland, but yeah. There you go. Right now then, or semi-professional drinker, Slurpee, good evening to you. Thanks for popping in. I'm just going to finish off this perfectly decent but odd, slightly watery Nitro Irish dry stout from Mad Squirrel up here in Hertfordshire, next county along, kind of, to me. A perfectly drinkable but slightly odd, slightly watery take-off of Guinness, to be fair. Like I say at the start, I think what they've done is they've perfected a clone of a slightly imperfect beer in the first place, but it's drinkable enough. That berry note coming through now is quite nice. Bit of damson, a bit of blackberry, maybe a bit of blackcurrant or something like that for the dry note. But anyway, yeah. Cheers. So I've got down the ABV there from 8.2 to 4.5. We're going to go up a little bit as we bring on beer number 3, please. And beer number 3, a big beer, as the banner suggests, although not as big as the first one, but big enough with, hopefully, a little bit of a note. As we said at the start, clusters. It does sound a bit ballsy to name a beer cluster, doesn't it? Let's cleanse the palate a little bit as we move on. Slurpee, have you been partaking of the black stuff tonight? It's a Monday night. I always used to take the 17th off I always used to take the 18th off if I could as well. Even when I worked for the construction company, predominantly Irish construction company, I used to get to January and just put the old holiday form in. Say, boss, can I have the 18th off? 18th of March, because they always do the 17th. When I forgot the 18th, it's like, you in tomorrow? No, I'm on the fucking rounds, you know. You can leave work at 5 o'clock and get on it. But sorry, my bad. I thought they said I'm banging. Fair play. Well, now Caribbean Macassins worth a go at 4.6%. That's a great shout. I don't think I've seen Macassins. I don't think I've ever tried it. Might have to hunt it out and have a look. That's not a bad shout, to be fair. I've heard good things. I've seen it back in the day. Your man's not wrong. You know what I'm saying? Won't touch draft Guinness. It's the carling of stouts. You're not wrong, to be honest. Probably more so now, because they'll be cutting costs like everybody else. I say I'm still regularly drinking Guinness, and even Guinness Cold. Do you remember when that came out? Do you remember Guinness Red when that came out? I wasn't so keen on that, but yeah, Guinness Cold I'm knocking back 5 years ago. Like I say, till I stopped going to the pub, and they closed my pub. My pub, O'Neill's, it was a chain, but the amount of throughput of Guinness made the Guinness very, very good, in my opinion. Although I didn't get out much in the days to go and check out other Guinnesses. No, I did a bit. There's a lot of Irish bars around here in North West London. Cladderig, for example, where the Guinness was very, very good at the end of the day. And like I was saying earlier, you knock it back quick enough, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Right, let's get this one into a glass. It is NeonRaptor out of Nottingham. It is a version of their stout called Clusters, which I had, I think, about 3-4 years ago, first off. It's one I would go back to. I think it's 5.2% chocolate stout, but it's Clusters Irish cream version. It stops short of saying liqueur. I like the can wrap. Looks to me like an old steam engine nameplate, but that's just my other vague interest in transport. Let's get into a glass and see how. I did actually think it was going to be a bit more than 5.2. To be fair, I'm going to go with the bowl glass for this one. For I think should be a nice smooth, chocolatey, decadent stout. Although there's a slight thinness on the pour, but a bit more oiliness and reasonable head development. Not mad in the glass. I'll just pour it all out. I just don't know that shaky business. So I like the look of it. Looks are really good. Right, let's see if we can get this right with the photo. Thank you for the reminder as ever, Mr. Wilson. I might take a bit of time over this one. So I want to get it right, because that does look really good in the glass. It's kind of a bit more oily thickness as it develops in the glass. The NeonRaptor cans are always fairly hard to get right, because that black can wrap, which they do a lot of. To be fair, away from the laptop, there's no light source to bounce off that, so you can't see anything. It looks dark as anything, that style from here. I need to get a better camera to do this in these terrible lighting conditions. Maybe it would focus straight away. That would be lovely. I'm going to take my time a little bit with this one because I want to get it right. Although I see now that head has kind of dissipated a little bit. So I kind of wanted to get that in quickly, really. Okay, that's not too bad. That's doable. That's manageable, that. There you go, that'll do. Still can't breathe. There you go. Oh, let's get the laptop out of the way. Yes, 2 slips. How about the beer? Beer Mongrel. Yes, we don't talk about that. I've not. I don't think I've ever bothered. I got Nitro on. For breakfast, I've been having Viagra and prune stout. If I'm coming, I'll go. I tell you what, that's a joke that really stands up to scrutiny. You have to laugh, though. Lots of breweries want to compete against Guinness, but they keep adding flavour. No, I don't think they fail. I think, well, like I say, yeah, you're right. There is a lot of breweries. Nitro has suddenly become a thing. And it does seem that they're trying to emulate a Guinness product that's was good but is not as good as it should be now. So they've perfectly perfected something that was imperfect. That's what I got from this. That's what I got from Anspatch Hub Days. London Black, although they've been smashing that. London Black actually had more flavour, I think, a bit more kind of smoky cigar leveriness, if I remember. Okay, so I got peanut butter from this, which I found bizarre. I probably shouldn't have read that first. Let's have a little look. Nose is blocked up again, so. Yeah, nothing much on the aroma. Didn't bother doing the pause sound there because I always forget to do it back. But yeah, so also back in the day, I drank a fair amount of Baileys, to be fair. Now I'm on the old Ballycastle stuff. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to go out today. I forgot. I saw Raggy did the Ballycastle Irish Cream Stout, and I would have to go down to Big Audi because my Audi on Saturday didn't have it. Yeah, so I've got to go and check that out. That sounds interesting. A stout Irish cream liqueur for 10 quid. I'll give that bottle a go. Anyway, let's get this down and see what we get for here. I sort of, now you've said peanut butter simmer, I can sort of see that kind of peanut butter wafer kind of note on the aroma, but I'm not getting a lot. Anyway, Slainte. Again, slight thinness initially. Yeah, I think I can get. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily have said it straight up unless I'd seen peanut butter. But there is that kind of slight peanut butter wafer kind of note. But that fades fairly quickly, I think, into coffee. That's the one I've seen, Black Heart. I've said it before, I have drunk their stouts. Their stouts are generally more pleasing to my palate because stouts generally are. That said, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the Black Heart. No, Black Heart I've not tried because I haven't drunk a beer mongrel. I haven't purchased a beer mongrel in 4 years. I have had one. I didn't review it. It's only because I was given it. So I drank it and it was right. But not Black Heart. I just can't be bothered. If somebody sends me some, I'll try it, but I won't review it. I'll admit to it, but yeah. Again, probably just reproducing something that was all right, I imagine. I'm a little bit disappointed in this, I've got to say, because it's thin but not watery. See, that's thin and watery. This was thin, but not particularly watery. There's a coffee note. See, when you see Irish liqueur, cream liqueur, I'm expecting soft, creamy mouthfeel. Irish cream chocolate stout. There is chocolate, to be fair, but it's very, not weak, but it's kind of background. A latest iteration of Clusters Stout, blends the sweetness and delight of Irish cream with a sturdy and robust chocolate base. Have a sip, feel good, shoot asteroids. I'm sort of, yeah. I'm sure original clusters was thicker than that, more luxurious. Okay, all right. So ingredients, all the usuals, blah blah blah. Oats, liquid cacao, hops, vanilla, and yeast. Vanilla's lost on me for the best of times, to be fair. I haven't looked at a date today. Sorry, Kevin. Well, since I bought it last week, I assume that it says best before the 17th of the 2nd. It's right on the rim of the can, so I assume it says 26. They've laser printed that all over the fucking shop on the rim of the can. Guile 609. I think that says 26. I only bought it the other week from Left Field Beer because I got a random order in. And Fuller's Black Cab or London Porter, you enjoy both way more. Yeah, Fuller's Black Cab was really good. As I say, just behind Beer Mongrel, I would even less be likely to be drinking Camden. I have drunk at Camden's Tap Room back in the day, but now they're wholly owned subsidiary of Big Beer Shithousery. I'm not that bothered. And apparently it's shocking. And, well, yeah, less said about that one, the better. Rasko tried it because he was sent some. Never sent me any. Oh, well, whatever. If people want to send me beer, that's fine, but I'm not going to go looking for it. And if that had been sent to me, I would be equally nonplussed about it at the time, even before we found out the madness or whatever it was. I never saw. There was a news story about it, wasn't there? No Nitro. Yeah, Camden is not that well thought of anymore. Right, so this one is, there's a sort of, it says liquid cacao, but it's a kind of more cocoa powdery note, sort of chocolate. I missed a trick at the weekend. I was so busy up at the brewery. We had 3 stouts on. And I wanted to do a video, but I just ran out of time and talent as well. So we had that Christmas pudding stout back from Christmas, the 7% job as the big one. We got a choco milk stout on that we brewed last month. So I managed to get that on as well, which was a very interesting flavour. It came up more, for me anyway, that kind of old brown leather sofa note that I talked about on one the other day. And the Christmas pudding has got that slightly as well. We also had a leftover cask of our oatmeal stout, the very brick, which was by far the best, to be fair, probably just slightly nudging ahead of the Christmas pudding, with lots of really good coffee, slight chocolate, and a little bit of red berry note as well. Off the hand pull. We didn't put a sparkler on it, No, we didn't. But come up really soft, creamy, so very, very slightly oily, very drinkable. I should have done a freeway stout off video, and I just ran out of time. Working, what can you do? Don't touch Nitro shite. Too many good cast stouts out there with flavour. Your man's not wrong. Sorry, Slurpee, you're right. I tried them. To be fair, I actually forgot. I didn't notice. I just picked this can up because I love the can artwork. I didn't notice a Nitro stout, but yeah, you're not wrong. I will try them. Yeah, that's my problem. There is so many other good stuff out there, stout and porters. But you kind of have, I do find myself kind of buying stuff to review because, I mean, even these slightly, that one I got in last week just because it was from Ireland, and I'm like, well, I know I'm probably going to do this. I want to I want to get something in. So I do. I mean, the Shamrock, I sort of probably had half an eye on it. I didn't really want to leave it from like October or whenever I picked it up. And again, this one, I did. I just picked it up because I was possibly going to do a stream. And I do find myself doing that a lot. Like I say, I put the order in at Trembling Madness, and if you've seen the Instagram post, there was a couple of other beers. Again, there's a pineapple beer from Brass Castle because obviously I got a pineapple beer in last week. Kudos to everybody who's managed to get a video out about that, by the way. I just haven't got around to it this weekend, and even again today, ran out of time. I'll try and do some videos tomorrow, maybe. But yeah, it's just too many beers, not enough me, and that is the epitome of my beer reviewing. Maybe I should just do what Slurpee does and forget it and just go and drink beer, and then do one video a fortnight or whatever. Kudos to your videos, by the way, Slurpee. I was saying that the other week. Especially congrats for getting on 1,000. Cheers to you, Slurpee. My man. Good stuff. I'm doing it right. I'm just worrying about actually doing it. Yeah, there's a sort of peanut wafer note to this. What's that? Peanut bar. Not Lion Bar so much. A little bit. I love stouts. They don't like me. See, I've always been all right with that. Kind of maybe train the body. Next day, don't leave that. Is it the fact that it's a stout, the constituent ingredients, the volume, or the sheer amount, or the 10 other pints? I don't know. I used to regularly go out and nick 10 pints of Guinness plus a bunch of shots. And it wasn't even that long ago, It's only like 6 years ago. Probably 5 years ago, maybe less so slightly. And then it all fell apart. And probably my drinking ability, even for stouts, is shit these days, probably. Yeah, interesting, Yeah, I don't go to the pub much these days. Even for stouts, but I'm not sure about that. I hate to say it, but for drinkability, I don't know. Each of these has brought something. Drinkability, this was probably the best because I smashed that down, but it was the first one out of the bag. So that has some interesting flavour, but that wateriness on the back edge I wasn't sure about. This one, there's good sweetness. I like the sweetness. I know a lot of people complain about sweet beers, but I've never found a beer that's too sweet, and this isn't. But I'm just not getting that Irish cream liqueur note. I'm not even getting an Irish cream edge, that liqueur edge. It's kind of okay, but it is properly thin. I was expecting some more oatiness, some more thickness, some more cakiness. That's what I want. A nice chocolate cake, chocolate gatto note, as long as you've got some fruit and some chocolate. There's not even any chocolate in there, really. The chocolate is that roasty bitterness. And it's sort of a little bit all over the place. Sorry, NeonRaptor. I'm really taking this apart. It's all right. There's a little bit of fruit there now, maybe. Yeah. Sorry, NeonRaptor. That's there's the cocoa, maybe. There is a sort of cocoa powder note to it, but it's not amazing. It's not off the chain banging as I thought it'd be. Maybe I've raised it up too much. It's like, yes, all right. It's all right. I want it to be thicker. I want it to be more voluminous. I want it to be creamier. It's not a creamy liqueur stout. It's definitely a stout. There's some roastiness to it. I tell you who did review this, Rory, and I specifically didn't look at Rory's review, so I'm going to go back and look at that now, see what he said about it. Yeah. Get a real stout, drop some Baileys in it. Yeah. I'll mix it properly, I think. This is so weak, take 6 pints to really notice. well, I used to be banging 6 to 10 pints, like I say, down, and it was a bit. The Guinness was so good because they had such a throughput even during the week. And, 300 people, 200 people drinking Guinness at the weekend. But would you say that Irish brewed beer is the best beer of the? Well, like I say, it's three very different beers in a way, and for quality, yeah, because that was the thickest, most voluminous, smoothest. I should imagine there's a fair amount of oats in that, and as there were in all. But yeah, I think Whiplash is for quality, yes. For my flavour, no. For my palate, my palate is really difficult because I didn't like the kind of dankness, that pineapple edge, but I really liked that vodka orange, vodka pineapple juice, vodka pineapple, vodka grapefruit juice note to it because of the ABV, because of the thing. So yeah, if I was gonna do a session, it would be this, it'd be the Shamrock. To be fair, that for a bit of decadence, but I'd want to start on that. I always start pale or go up. So yeah, three really slightly perplexing beers. Not massively Irish beers, to be fair, but yeah, the Whiplash probably takes it, and it's the width of a leprechaun's doodahs clusters. To be fair, this one's all right. It's okay, but it's just oddly more thin and less smooth, creamy, and decadent than I had possibly imagined. That's the one. I'm sure I did it once or twice. I'm sure I did it. But yeah, not a terrible night's drinking. I haven't got to go work in the morning, so I could probably smash a few more. I'll go and see how it's about on live, but I'll put another one up tomorrow. I'll be okay in the morning. I I probably won't have another one tonight. That'll do. That'll finish me off. I'll be good. And you see it now? No, that's the one. See a lot of people do that. The McCrackens. No, I like that name. I've been in fish 4 days. Still mad carbonated. Fair enough. Yeah, I've not seen McCrackens about, but I see a lot of people have picked them up. So I tell you what, now halfway down, maybe it's warmed up slightly. There's a slight more creaminess to it, but still a thin, not quite watery, but a thin edge. There's some good sort of roasty notes coming through now a bit, along with that creaminess. A lot of sweetness. I like the sweetness. I'm fine with the sweetness. It kind of rounds out that kind of smoothness. There's a joke there. If Slurpee wants to do that, Phil McCracken. Good one, sir. It's like that BBC reporter, isn't it? He did another one the other day. I saw it. They sent him out. It was like during the petrol crisis when there was no petrol going about. People were rationing petrol, and they sent out a guy called Phil McCann. I like it though. No, don't behave like that. I started drinking stouts left out of the fridge. See, mine have been in the fridge. Actually, I think my fridge is broken. I'm gonna have to replace it. But mine are in the stair cupboard still, and it's properly cold in there, especially today. Oh, it's the fucking nose. It's not helpful. All right, let me do the outro. That was weird. Cleanse the old nasals, and suddenly I got that cream note to it. Suddenly there's a creaminess. There's like a cream liqueur, but there's not a liqueur note. And Bailey's can be. It's a liqueur. I don't know what the ABV of Bailey's is. Must be about 10. But yeah, suddenly as the palate cleared a little, I suddenly got a creamier note to it. Let's go in again for the finish. No, there's still a little thin back edge on it, but yeah, there's a sort of more creamy coffee crema kind of note to it. Yeah, I think I'd probably bang a decent stout on a Ballycastle rather than a Bailey's. It's just cheaper, isn't it? I'm going to wander up to. I think I'm going to wander up. Oh no, I might on Wednesday. If I'd take a little drive out and pop over to the big Audi that might have that Ballycastle stout liqueur. I'd be interested to see that one. I'm going to go back and watch that review from Maggie. Who picked that up over the weekend. Might be interesting. But yeah, managed to steer clear of many stereotypes as possible tonight. Apart from the stout references, obviously. Been an interesting lineup, I think, for vaguely Irish-related beers. Not so much with this one, but one from Ireland, one dry Irish stout, and one nominally Irish liqueur. Thanks for joining us. I hope you've got a good finish to the evening. Still got time to nip to the pub for last orders or local club. As I say, used to do that. Didn't even play that one from 5 years ago, if I can remember. Look out for the stream from 5 years ago. See how much things have changed apart from the shirt. But you guys, disappointed in the leprechauns. Well, I've been trying to reduce the budget for these shows. Well, thank you very much, David Wilson, Simo, Shark, and everybody else is popping in. If you're watching after the event, do let me know. Join in the discussion about Nitro Stouts in the comments and everything like that, and how good a St. Patrick's Day night you had, and join me tomorrow for probably some more beers. I've got something lined up. I'm not sure. I might do it Thursday. I might do it tomorrow. I might do both. Might even do one Wednesday because I'm not sure I'm working all day Wednesday. A bit of a light week this week. But yeah, check her out. Comment, click like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. And above all, cheers. And enjoy the beers. I've been Disco Rasko and Disco Beer Review. Thanks for joining the stream. Have a good one. And Slainte.